The Galactic Botanical Survey Station hung in orbit above Kepler 442b, a modest research outpost where xenobotanists from across the civilized galaxy studied the universe's most dangerous flora. Professor Velthar, a Zentari scholar with crystalline skin that refracted the station's fluorescent lights into dancing rainbows, stood before his assembled class of interstellar students. Today's specimen, Velthar announced, his voice resonating through his thorax, is perhaps the most lethal plant we have ever catalogued. He gestured toward a sealed containment unit, where a small green plant with broad leaves sat innocently. We discovered this on Earth, the human homeworld. Initial contact with its oils causes immediate cellular breakdown. Death occurs within 30 seconds. The students, a mixture of insectoid klaxons, gelatinous orphids, and reptilian saurians, collectively recoiled from the display. One orphid actually liquefied slightly in fear, her form losing cohesion at the edges. We call it Capsicum annuum, Velthar continued, pulling up holographic displays of the plant's molecular structure. The compound responsible is capsaicin, a neurotoxin so potent that— Did you say Capsicum annuum? A voice interrupted from the back of the lecture hall. Velthar's optical organs swiveled to locate the speaker. It was one of the two humans in his class, Elizabeth Chen, if he recalled correctly. She sat beside the other human, Noah Martinez, and both wore peculiar expressions that Velthar had learned to identify as amusement. Yes, Velthar replied cautiously. Are you familiar with this specimen? Elizabeth stood, her movement fluid in the station's artificial gravity. Professor, with all due respect, we call that seasoning. The lecture hall erupted in confused chittering and bubbling. Velthar's crystals dimmed with concern. Surely you are mistaken. This plant is deadly to every species we have tested. Noah rose beside Elizabeth, grinning. Professor, may I approach? Every student in the hall tensed. The klaxon's antennae flattened against their heads in distress. Velthar hesitated, his ethical protocols warring with scientific curiosity. The containment protocols won't be necessary, Noah said, already walking down the aisle toward the sealed unit. Elizabeth followed, and together they stood before the deadly specimen. This is madness, whispered a Saurian student, her tail coiling anxiously around her chair's leg. Noah manipulated the containment controls with practiced ease. The protective barrier shimmered and dissolved. The class watched in horror as he reached inside with his bare hand, and plucked one of the plant's bright red fruits. Stop, Velthar commanded, but Noah was already raising the fruit to his mouth. He bit into it. The lecture hall fell into stunned silence. Every eye, optical sensor, and sensory organ fixed on the human, waiting for the inevitable collapse, the cellular breakdown, the death throes that would begin any second. Noah chewed thoughtfully. This is a good one. Nice heat. Maybe 50,000 Scoville units? He offered the remaining half to Elizabeth. She took a bite and nodded appreciatively. Jalapeno, right? Pretty mild. We use these in everything. Sandwiches, pizza, salads. Pizza? Velthar heard himself ask weakly, his entire understanding of xenobiology crumbling around him. It's a food, Elizabeth explained. Actually, Professor, do you have any of the really dangerous earth plants here? The Trinidad scorpion? Carolina reaper. Those are the fun ones. Fun? An orphid student had fully liquefied into a puddle of shock. You consume deadlier versions of this toxin for entertainment? Noah laughed, the sound echoing strangely in the silent hall. Well, yeah. There's this whole thing on Earth called the Hot Pepper Challenge. People compete to eat the spiciest peppers they can find. Some of them measure over 2 million Scoville units. But the capsaicin, Velthar protested, pulling up his molecular charts again. It triggers your TRPV1 receptors, simulates burning. Oh, it definitely burns, Elizabeth agreed cheerfully. That's the point. It releases endorphins. Makes you feel good afterward. Some humans are actually addicted to it. Velthar had to sit down. His legs trembled beneath him. You experience pain, and consider it pleasurable? Not just peppers, Noah added, warming to his subject. We also eat fermented foods that would poison most species. We consume the flesh of creatures that would kill us if we got the preparation slightly wrong. We drink ethanol, literally a toxic solvent, for fun. One time, humans discovered a bean that causes severe illness and sometimes death, if not prepared correctly. You know what we did? The class waited, transfixed with horror. We developed elaborate preparation methods and made it a delicacy. It's called fugu. Costs hundreds of credits per serving in some restaurants. Elizabeth pulled out her personal datapad. Professor, I'm sending you a file on Earth cuisine. You should know what you're dealing with. We've cataloged thousands of foods that other species consider biological weapons. Velthar's datapad chimed. He opened the file with trembling manipulators. The list scrolled endlessly. Alcohol, caffeine, theobromine, capsaicin, allyl isothiocyanate, piperine, gingerol. Each one flagged as a neurotoxin, stimulant, or poison by the Galactic Health Organization. But, why, he finally asked. Why would evolution produce a species that actively seeks out harmful substances? Noah and Elizabeth exchanged glances. Noah shrugged. Makes life interesting? It's about pushing boundaries, Elizabeth said more seriously. Humans don't just survive, we thrive on challenge. We went to space in primitive rockets that exploded half the time. We dove to the bottom of our deepest oceans before we had proper technology. We climbed mountains that kill us, cross deserts that shouldn't be crossed, and yes, we eat plants that other species use as weapons. Because we can, Noah added simply. He held up the half-eaten pepper. This plant evolved capsaicin to protect itself from predators. It worked on every species except us. We tasted it, felt the burn, and decided we liked it. Then we cultivated it, bred it to be even stronger, spread it across our entire world. We didn't just survive nature, Elizabeth continued. We befriended it, challenged it, and made it part of our culture. That's what humans do, Professor. We take the deadly and make it delicious. Velthar looked at his class of traumatized students, then back at the two humans casually finishing their toxic snack. I believe, he said slowly, I need to completely revise my curriculum on Earth biology. Noah grinned. Wait until you hear about our pets. We domesticated apex predators and let them sleep in our beds. The Orphid student fainted, or rather, evaporated slightly, at that revelation. As Veltar watched the humans return to their seats, chatting animatedly about something called ghost peppers, he realized something profound. Humanity hadn't conquered the galaxy through superior technology or physical prowess. They'd done it by being absolutely, terrifyingly insane. And somehow that made them magnificent.